I'm AC Hart, the director of Afforded English, and welcome to the free 7 rules in your course. Today is rule 1. Now, rule 1 is learn English phrases, not individual words. This one just like the other rules, very simple, very easy. And like the other rules, this one is very powerful. It's so simple, so powerful. What's the rule? The rule is always learn phrases, not individual words. So simple. A phrase is a group of words, but it's an uneven part of sentence. So, for example, let's say you have word hate and you want to learn this word. You can write down the word hate and you find it down from dictionary, the meaning, and you memorizing it hate. That is our way, that's kind of textbook way, the school way, right? In school, you probably remember a lot of individual words. You have a big vocabulary list. You try to memorize all of them. Try to memorize all of individual single words. It's not a good way to learn. Much better if you learn phrases, a group of words. And where do you find these phrases? You find these phrases in the Real English podcast that you're listening to, in real English story books that you are reading. And don't memorize the list in the book. No. You listen to real English, and when you hear a new word, write down. Or when you're reading a storybook, when you see a new word, you write it down. But if you do not write down that word, you are going to write down the whole phrase or part of sentence that is end or it. So instead of the hate, you write down the hate. You say you write down don't hate ice cream. You write down the whole phrase. Why do we do this? What's the power of the phrases? Well, phrases give you a lot of information, much more information. Number 1, phrases are easier to remember because they have meaning. They have a kind of picture of a story, especially when you get from something when you are reading or listening to. You remember it. Don't hate ice cream. You remember the whole story. You remember who Don is. You remember he has an ice cream and he has ice cream. He didn't like it. Write all of each information help you remember the meaning of the phrase and the meaning of the word. So it helps you memory. You much easier to memory. Number 2, there is bonus. When you learn the phrases, you are listening grammar also. You are not only learn individual words, you are listening grammar. You are learning how to use that word correctly. You don't need to think about the grammar. You don't need to think about the rules. It's automatic. It's another way that native speakers learn English grammar. Because when we're children, we learn with phrases. We learn group of words, not just one by word. Word by word is slow and it doesn't help, and you don't learn any grammar. When you learn whole phrase, you write down phrase, you're getting extra information. Maybe you don't know, but you are. For example, don't hate ice cream. Just that word. That's don't hate. You know grammar study getting the subject in the word, the agree. You don't need to think about that. Just write down the phrase, don't hate ice cream, and study it, review it, away the learned phrase, not that word. And so the future, whenever you say, he has ice cream, she says ice cream, you will add that s, right? Because how you learned it? You learned it correctly, you learned it from a phrase. On the other hand, if you learn it from textbook, you just learn a word hate, means do not like. You learn that form, hate, and you study. You memorize it that you make some mistake. Because you learn it from only this one way. You didn't learn the other words. So sometimes you will say, he had ice cream. You will forget the s because you never learn it correctly in a sentence, in a phrase. So it's a very simple rules, and each rule in the course is very important. Every time you will find a new word, always with the phrase or sentence. When you review that word again, when you study it again, always study entire phrase or sentence. Never study just the word, always the phrase. Do this every time. Your grammar will begin to improve much faster. And you will remember the vocabulary faster and more easily, and you will use that vocabulary more quickly. So you get a lot of benefits. A lot of great stuff happens when you learn phrases instead of words. So phrase, learn them. I hope you enjoy rule number 1. Rule number 1 and your homework is to get the little phrase notebook. So when you find new English vocabulary in a lesson, in something that you're listening to, in a book, in an article, write down the phrase, not just one word. Write down the whole phrase that you find. And then you will that phrase again each day. You will create a notebook full of phrases, full of sentences, not individual words. Never individual words. Learn English phrases. Okay, that is rule 1. Tomorrow you will get a new email with rule number 2. So, see you tomorrow. Bye bye.